please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I do roll call? Is that Jason, or shall I do roll call?
We have Sam, she can do roll call, but if you led her in the roll call, that would be good.
Okay. Sam, would you do roll call for us? You'll keep track as I call names. Perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Romero.
Present.
Commissioner Alegria.
Present.
Commissioner Montero.
Here.
Commissioner Kleesick, also here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And are we all speaking loud enough for the microphone facing? Are we all speaking loud enough for the microphone?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda? Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I asked that the minutes be tabled into the next meeting. Approval of the minutes of August and October.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, so discussion, there's been a motion to table the minutes until the next meeting. Motion was made by Commissioner Alegria and seconded by Commissioner Montero. Any discussion?
Just a bit. Things happened, and so we got the packet not as finely as we would like to read it thoroughly.
There was a lot in there, and we had 2 sets of minutes for October, including the work session in the meeting minutes. So I am in full agreement that we could table those minutes. Any further discussion? I just also want to say that I really appreciate all the effort by staff to get those done. And it's just a matter of circumstance that we didn't get them in time to be able to review the vast amount of information that was in those minutes to be able to go through them today. So all those in favor of tabling the minutes for approval at the next meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so that's changes to the agenda. Any other changes to the agenda? Then moving on to public comment. Any public comment? Is there any public on the line?
There's
Anybody
no,
online? Any public in the room that would like to make comment? No public comment in the room. So we're on to item 7, reports from chair and commissioners. Commissioner Romero, any reports?
Oh, I would just like to report. I'm glad to see where the point we are, and welcome all you folks back there. Sorry I went back behind you. And anyway, that's it. Happy holidays.
You also went to a conference between last time we were here?
Last time I was here, went to a conference in Bend. It was very, I thought it was a good conference. My third one. I had a positive response. People were saying, I am sure glad that a board member is here. And so good conference.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Alegria.
Nothing.
Commissioner Montero.
Yes, I also went to the Oregon Transportation Association conference in Bend, and this was my first one. I learned so much, and I understand so much more. But now I'm where I had just enough to be dangerous. I now have enough to be a little more dangerous, and know that I need to learn a lot more. But I brought back a stack of things that I gave to our executive director, but I also a couple of things that were available there that I picked up. One is the National Rural Transit Assistance Program, which apparently is it's like training, and this is delivering excellent customer service in rural transit. So I think I gave you one of these, David, didn't I pick up a second one, I can't remember. And that RTAP also has a resource catalog, which I think might be helpful for us to be able to use. This is the program for the conference, and if anybody wants to look at it, it's mainly ODOT speaking, but they're teaching us the basics, and I really learned a lot. And then this RTAP, National RTAP, also has a bunch of different books for trainings and for understanding. And so this one I picked up, Fundamental Financial Management for Rural Transit Providers. And boy, am I going to learn a lot out of here. And I could see it set up to be classes, but I think this is something that if we can get more copies for everybody, we probably should.
I'm sure that we have to.
Okay, good deal. The only other thing is community engagement. Every time I go to the senior lunches at Chisholm in Seaside, I talk about transit, and people were very interested in hearing more about our microtransit project and pilot. Earlier in the month, again, since we met, Jason went out to Chisholm to interview Edwin and Margie Schenk, and they will be part of a program that he puts together. So we've got some good community engagement, and I think that the senior meals, there's one every day in Seaside, there's one once a week in Napa, I want to say, and there's one a couple of times a week in Warrenton. And I think it would be good for us to do some outreach there and some community engagement. That's it. Thank you.
It's been a busy time between the last meeting, and we've had a lot of work in the background to do. So that would be my report, is that I've been really busy making the things in the background help work and be smooth, and collaborating with staff to make sure that we get our board positions filled and keep our buses going and letting the public know what is happening. I also was at the OTA conference and was able to sit in on several sessions, and one of them that I thought was most interesting and most valuable from my perspective, since I've been to multiple of these conferences, was the session put on by the ODOT team that oversees the STIF funding. And they talked about different ways to amend and change our plans. And so hopefully we can look into that and take care of the funding that we were concerned about not being able to be used. And so I'm going to make sure that I pass on information to David, and so that he can put it to use as far as who to contact and how to go about amending our STIF plan when we need it to be, not having to wait till spring. So that's my report. So we're on to financial reports.
Good morning.
Good morning.
One thing I kind of wanted to touch base on that we had discussed in our last meeting was the parking, as we were going to send out letters to our leasees that I will be changing. I reached out to the city of Astoria, and the only parking that they have is easement parking along the river walk for the business owners, and it's $90 a quarter. So
Wow.
that's but it's not public paid parking. So
Basically $30 a month.
So they said they don't go what?
I was told that the only parking that the city has, that the city manages, is easement parking along the river walk for their business owners.
And I think this was to compare to what we charge for parking.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. Unfortunately, maybe things have changed, but I think that information might be that might be what they have available. right now, but the numbers are what matter. So I,
And I had explained to them that we were looking at increasing our parking. We were just,
Right.
there's other
Good.
parking,
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
out there, not the information. they provided me. So that's what I had to go with.
perfect. Yes.
I updated the financials per our last meeting, and the changes. So hopefully I hit everything there. If not, please let me know and I'll make those changes going forward. Any other questions?
Any questions on the financials? Well, Pamela, flip pages, I would say I will
Well, just keep
appreciate,
on going.
yeah, I will appreciate that, keep looking, Pamela, because I know you have at least one.
Well, well.
It wouldn't be a meeting if you didn't have a
Okay,
financial
yeah,
plan.
it's Christmas time.
Her questions aren't hard. I will say that I appreciate the redo of the reports. It was much easier to follow and much easier to go through. Thank you. It will still take a little time to get used to where to focus on things, but I really appreciate that you incorporated our requests from the work session into this time's report. Absolutely.
And I have a question. So this is all current to October 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
How long does it take to close the books for a month? Because we're like 3
So-
weeks into it.
It's about the middle of the month, and our reports are due to David a week before the board meeting. Actually, they're due a week and a half before the board meeting. So in order to have adequate, November numbers, I would have needed more time. So rather than give you numbers for November that weren't adequate, I was asked to wait and get those in January, and have November and December and January.
Okay. I would like to see if there's a way we can do things to get more current reports. I'd love to be able to get the report for November at the December meeting, for December at the January.
Well, and normally that it would be the case because this meeting is technically a week earlier than it would have been. That is part of why, yes. So the
I
December,
forgot
the
that.
November, December
I
meeting,
forgot that.
because of
Mhm.
holiday dates,
Yeah.
really always throws everything off. So just the board needs to be aware that we will get more, our January packet will be very full, especially now that we have tabled the minutes to go through. So allocate enough time in January to review your entire packet. And we that are preparing the packet will make every effort to get it done and out to you a week in advance so that you'll have adequate time to review. So, there's been a lot of things conspiring against that happening in a
has,
timely
yeah,
fashion in the
really.
last few weeks. So, hopefully by then we will be a little bit further along the way with an executive assistant. We will be further along the way with having a little bit more, timing wise understanding of how things happen. So normally, Commissioner Montero, you would see the previous month's financial reports, but we're a week early this, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the finance?
Okay, I'll keep you happy.
I knew we had one.
And this, I read this speed reading, not thoroughly, but this was a question, and it may show my ignorance. For a long time, we didn't have a balance sheet, and this is not a reprimand, except that. What it is that I'm trying to check the figures that are in here. For example, the contingency is the same as you have on the dashboard. But when you go to, okay, as I said, I read this too. So for example, the ODOT loan 201 is different than what is on the dashboard. So in other words, where do the figures come from? If we wanted to check it out, and not questioning we're just oversight.
So
Where do we go?
so on the balance sheet, there's two different things that reference the ODOT loan. So at the top of the balance sheet, there's the ODOT loan, that's the bank account, that's the funds that are in the bank, and that is the same as that's on the dashboard. The bottom ODOT loan is because our most recent audit isn't complete. So that is audit numbers from previous, because that hasn't been updated. So that's the bottom, the ODOT loan, the 2805 is audit numbers from our ODOT loan in what we had, what was showing. This is showing a 23 fiscal year 23 number,
2023?
from when we first got our loan.
Okay,
Yeah, and the top number is the loan, is the balance in the bank account that matches the,
okay,
and those numbers aren't always going to match because the numbers that you're looking at on the balance sheet are the numbers at the bank statement. The numbers that you're looking at on the dashboard are the actual funds that are available as of that date. So if we went to close our accounts on December 5th, those are the balances that we had available in those bank accounts. And that included all of our outstanding checks. So those numbers are not always going to match.
so the dashboard is money in the bank.
Yes,
Okay, well, that's.
as of that date, and it's dated. I put the available.
Yeah,
Right.
12/5, which
Yeah.
is
So as to Commissioner Montero's first question about how do we get more, up to date, like right now information, that's our always like right now information from whenever this is printed. And then
Right.
the ability to have the financials completed is, 2 to 3 weeks before we have a meeting. I should always do that before. So sometimes those numbers don't exactly jive up because things have happened in between.
Right, okay. And then, so with the accounts payable conversion,
Page number.
line 20, we're still on the balance sheet, so page 21. So that, what does that mean really?
What line are you looking at?
So that would be 20 on the balance sheet. So you have 29,000 in red. So,
I would have to look at exactly what it entails in that.
okay,
Oh, the 18, line 20, the undervision.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so then, like the accrued labor system, I understand that's a liability, but then why is it in red?
It ends up kind of, it depends on when our payroll, how our pay period lands.
Mhm.
Within that depends on how that sits, like what we have. Sometimes our payroll will end at the end of the month, and sometimes it goes over, so it depends on how much we have in that space.
How much you have on.
How much we have out, how much we have that is liability for our payroll.
So why isn't it, since liabilities are in red anyway, why are some in red? Because, for example, credit card is in, black, which would seem an asset, but,
The credit card line goes back and forth between the two.
So payable, this is, if Kelly, please let me know if I'm understanding this correctly. So the payable one is the bill that they received or how much is
Right.
due.
got that,
And then the clearing is what they're paying to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a difference between the two because of what timing of what gets billed when.
so I guess what I don't understand is, why isn't the 29,000 plus subtracted for the 100,000, and then you have less liability?
Because I think,
I think I'd like to.
correct.
I don't have an exact answer for that as to why our balance sheet is set up that way.
Okay, I mean, this is.
Yeah.
Just, okay, I've done my duty. Thank you.
So that, what goes into the payable, the labor system and the payable system. I'd love to know that also. If we can just have the more detail as to what those two numbers really entail.
For the labor.
For the labor, and it also says payable system and then versus payable other. So what does that mean? What goes into those?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
20 and
gotcha.
21?
Yeah,
And 14 and 16 have,
15, 16.
Okay, I lied.
Okay.
Oops, and I just. So what why is deferred revenue, why is the revenue deferred that it hasn't been received and therefore it's a liability, you expect to receive it?
That has to do with property tax.
Okay, so it's late, well, not on your part, but on the,
Yeah, it has to do with property tax.
Would that be, well, on the dashboard, you were telling us that we did not get as much property tax as budgeted. How much less than we budgeted did we get? Where will I see that?
and that would,
94,000, 93,000.
so why is that different from the 64,000 on the balance sheet?
I'll have to look and see exactly
Okay.
what sits in that.
It was I was interpreting that deferred revenue as, money that was past year's taxes, not expected this year's taxes, from this last year.
Right,
So
right.
it was not, so it gets put into a whole different category when it's late taxes being paid in a future year. And that's what I was thinking that was, but yes, if we could get some clarification, that would be fantastic.
And maybe if it is, if, you know, taxes that haven't been paid to sunset, have to put it into parentheses, so it's, you know, where it's coming from, what it's referring to.
Right. Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
I think something that would be helpful, I think this is the first time we've seen this all with the GL names and codes. And I think what would be helpful is a list of the explanation of every GL code and name and what goes into that. And this is a very timely time for that kind of a document because it's not only going to educate us, but our new commissioners. I know I was in another organization and we did that and it really cleared everybody's understanding of, okay, what goes into that? What goes into that?
Yeah, I have that document. I've used it before with this.
So if you could provide that, that could even be a standard that
Yeah.
comes with our packet. Also, I think the dashboard, if you can have some, a one pager that explains what each thing on the dashboard means. Because again, this is a great way to educate our new commissioners as well as me.
And in general, it's also in keeping with our transparency because we want these documents to be able to be understood by anybody that looks at them and picks them up, not just people that come to meetings all the time. So, yeah.
okay, I'm on pig layer today. Okay, on line 9, it's, what is EFT mean?
Electronic funds transfer.
And what it, why does it exist or something?
Well, Pamela, I think that we're going to get all those questions answered when we get the document that tells us what every one of our GL codes means and includes.
Kelly, do you know if the EFT clearing is us paying things or us receiving monies through credit card payments or fees that we pay for the electronic funds payments?
Well, you can just look it up and not have to, you know,
Yeah.
be on the spot here. Because it's not in their acronym list.
Oh, the line 9 on the balance sheet.
EFT is not on.
Yeah, I can add that to the list. But yeah, I'll have to look and see exactly what's in that.
So for everybody that's listening, this is prior to the last meeting, we had a work session on how we wanted and what kind of information, how we wanted the financials to appear and what kind of information we wanted on the financials to make it more useful for us to be able to look at these things. So some of these documents are new and different for us. So we're trying to weed through so that we are getting the information that we need so that we can ask the questions that are important so that we can keep an eye on the right line item. So it's not that we go through this every time. This is a new format in a new document. So yeah.
Which is good. We're in continuous process improvement.
Yes. Okay.
Always.
Do we have any other further questions on the financials? I think the rest of it was very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion. So I'm gonna make a motion to accept the financial reports.
I am next second motion.
Motion to accept the financial reports was made by Commissioner Montero and seconded by Commissioner Alegria. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Okay, continued board business, down to the meat of things. So we now have come to the section of the agenda where we are going to take the next step in filling our board vacancies. We will have each applicant have an opportunity to introduce them, say something very brief about themselves if they'd like. Then they will receive questions from the board, and then following that, we will do nominations for the board position. In order to have this be most fair for each applicant, we have requested that the applicants wait in the lobby while the other applicants are being asked questions. So there's no unfair advantage as far as who goes first and who goes last. Somebody has numbers to draw.
Kelly does.
Kelly has numbers to draw, which will determine the order we will see you. So we won't be going alphabetically. Your name will not disadvantage you. It's all luck of the draw. So if we can have you draw numbers and
Let them
then
draw.
everybody but one person, but the one with number one that is an applicant will wait for us in the lobby outside.
Actually,
Yeah.
we have them in the room for
That is also a lobby.
Yes, it is. The internal lobby. All right.
All right, do we have another
Tell us your
one?
numbers. One, who's two?
Two.
Two,
Okay.
you're three?
Three and four.
Okay.
Because three's not.
Yep, no problem. So everybody but number one, follow Kelly to the other space, please.
And we probably should just indicate, for the minutes that, William Ray was unable to be here
Sure.
due to, a medical emergency. Oh, we need a page. You write their name. And then she notes it. We need a page.
So I'm number one, where did you want me?
Did you join us at the table here? I need a blank page to put this in.
No, we can write it. You write it.
There you are. There you are.
No, we just, we don't need more copies of this. She's worried about more paper, more space to take notes. So commissioners, on each page, please write the applicant's name at the top that we are asking these questions. No, sorry. I will be asking the first applicant their questions. This list of questions. And then the next applicant, Commissioner Romero will be asking all 5 questions of it. Then the next applicant, Commissioner Alegria, will be asking all 5 questions. And then the next applicant, Commissioner Montero, will be asking all 5 questions. You take notes on here for this applicant's answers. So you write this applicant's name on the top of this paper.
But that means I don't have them for the other.
We'll get another
Oh,
one.
you're gonna give me another one because I just made a grid from
Okay,
myself.
you will get
Now I
a sheet
understand
for
what you're
each
doing.
applicant.
Now I understand.
Okay.
God.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Penny York. I live in Seaside. Did you want me to do my little?
Whatever you
Word
want,
is,
you just quick, refresh our memory of who you are.
I have a lot of experience in local government, as well as nonprofit work and administration, public policy. One thing I did mention last time was that I have a lot of experience in doing public outreach. So speaking, coming up with outreach plans, facilitation forms. So
Okay, thank you. So I will ask the first question, the series of questions, but I'll ask them one at a time. So what do you believe is the role and responsibilities of a commissioner at Sunset Empire Transportation District?
I think primarily it's oversight, making sure that the agency is in compliance, that that you're meeting your goals, that you're meeting commitments you've made to partners, other government bodies. So oversight first, and then I would say there's a public relations aspect, making sure that you are an ambassador for the agency and individually keeping up with what's going on in Oregon related to transportation and transit, and anything that relates to the work of the district.
Thank you. What is the most important skill you bring to the board and to Sunset Empire Transportation District?
Board relations. And everything that's involved in that I talked about, the responsibilities of individuals.
What is your knowledge and experience with Oregon ethics law and how it applies to our board members as public officials?
Ethics law specifically, I haven't reviewed in some time. I'm more familiar with, although I know there's an ethics board and there's information available to that. I'm more familiar with public records law, open meeting law. Did you want me to talk about those?
I'll give you a different opportunity. Your next question is, what is your level of understanding of public meetings law?
Oh, okay. Well, meetings where decisions are made are open to the public, have to be publicly noticed. Publicly noticed, and there is a minimum amount of time before the meeting that they have to be noticed, I recall. There needs to be some opportunity for public input, although that is done in different ways in different bodies, and often whether it's a regular meeting, a special meeting, or work session. Decisions need to be made in public. That means that there are some prohibitions to some kinds of discussion. For example, there can't be a serial meeting. So one board member can't talk to another and then talk to another and talk to another, so that they are in effect only about a decision. That's tricky. And it gets, especially new folks sometimes in developing new habits. Related to that, there are also restrictions on communications outside the meeting. So emails, a lot of bodies that are covered by open meeting, public meeting, will designate one person, often the chief executive, to provide information, and that members can't reply to all. They need to give information to that individual. So there's a lot about how that's done. There are a lot of rules and regulations around how records are kept. I'm not as familiar with that, but it's usually a staff person who was watching out for that, making sure that the members were doing things right, and often it's the body that is controlling record keeping, so it's a little easier for members. Although you have to for this amount of time.
What do you see as the biggest challenges facing our district, and how would you address them?
I've read a little bit about the issues that happened. I think it was a year and a half ago. It seems to me they related to inadequate financial information and access to financial information. it sounds like you've taken steps already, listening to your discussion and reading the minutes of your session about how the financial documents are crafted so that you're getting essentially what's really in each of those cells. And I would think another part of that is being careful and maybe prescriptive about your decision making. What kind of information do you want when in order to make big decisions? Looking at the what it's called, but the line where, for example, the executive director can make an administrative decision about spending as long as the budget it's within the budget for that line versus coming back to the electeds and asking for making a recommendation for a formal decision about spending. So spending authority. Making sure that you are maintaining what you believe is the core mission and service you're providing. So I drove here in my car today following one of the buses and reading on the back of it about the cost of fare, military free, school students free, that kind of information, and where you step into doing some of the extra things you would like to do and maybe the community is really calling for, but can you manage to do it? It's hard to hear what people's needs are and to continue to look back at the bottom line and your goals and mission to make sure that you are not making promises that you can't responsibly.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
If you would join your ask their gym.
Unless you do it with everyone.
Who's the first person? So do you have a question that you'd like to ask us? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So that way, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Check with them. Do that.
Morning, John.
Good
Thanks for
morning.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, we're gonna give you an opportunity to maybe just remind us who you are.
Sure.
And then Guillermo is going to ask you a series of 5 questions,
Okay.
and that'll do that.
Okay.
That's how we roll.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll introduce myself. My name's John Layton. I am a resident of Clatsop County. Live in Warrenton currently, born in Astoria, Oregon. Been around here for about 40 years. Former employee of Sunset Empire Transportation. Worked here for about 12 years. Worked as a transit center manager for about 3. Worked as the information specialist for about 9. Learned a lot about transportation while working here, and enjoyed my time here. I like to help people. I think I'd be a great board member because I feel like I can represent all the different stakeholders, Clatsop County members, writers, employees, anybody that needs to be represented. I think I can kind of put myself in their boots. Okay.
Thank you. All right, Guillermo, you're gonna ask the 5 questions.
All right, first of all, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
First question is, what do you believe is the role and responsibilities of a commissioner at the Sunset Empire Transportation District.
Okay, so we're here to represent as those groups I mentioned before, but we're here to make policies and framework for our wonderful staff to follow and to help our riders and users of the system in an efficient way. Through that guidance, hopefully we can put together a wonderful system that everybody has the opportunity to use and help them to get from point A to point B in the least cost fashion.
Next question. Number 2. What is the most important skill you bring to the board and to Sunset Empire and Transportation District?
So this is hard because, like I said, I'm a former worker here, so I have a lot of different skills. I've worked on the finances. I've worked on the data here. I worked with the people riding the bus and helping them get to where they needed to go. But I guess as far as skill that I've used a lot during all the time is my patience and my listening ability. I don't like to talk. I like to listen. And I want to get all the information that is available before putting my words out to answer things. So that's what I feel like I can bring to the board.
Thank you. Next question, number 3. What is your knowledge and experience with Oregon ethics law and how it applies to our board members as public officials?
So actually, my time here, we had to sit through an ethics meeting with SDAO, and that was very telling. I remember one of the stories they told us about was about a board who wasn't doing a good job watching their financials, and so they end up having people come and confiscate their cars to their surprise. So that's very telling. So we must be ethical. I mean, that's basically one of the tenets, I believe, of the motto here at Sunset is ethical. So I definitely recognize that's a very important part. Be important.
Thank you. Number 4. What is your level of understanding of public meetings law?
So I will admit that that's not coming to my head, but basically as a board, we're only allowed to meet as a board. I'm not allowed to go talk to 2 or more people on the board. It needs to only be group conversation. And really that's feels like how it should be anyways. I don't feel like there should be any kind of wheeling and dealing. I know sometimes maybe need to have some conversations on points, but really we're here to represent the public and we need to be transparent. And so we need to do things the right way. Fortunately, while working here, we had difficulty sometimes with following some of these rules. So I hope I somehow learned during all those times to follow those rules and be cognizant of what I need to do.
Good. Last question, number 5. Okay. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing our district and how would you address them?
There's a lot. And I know you all have a hard job, to be honest. It's bringing back confidence to the public. We've shaken it up now twice, and it hurts. I'm sorry, my voice is again doing this on Sunday. We need to get confidence of the Clatsop County. We need to get confidence of the riders, employees, everybody back. That's the key. We need to show that we're going to be a solid thing for them. And we're going to have to make decisions on possibly new transportation methods. Costs are going up constantly. And the amount that we're getting for income can't cover regular bus routes. I don't think like we used to have in the past. So we're gonna have to try to find new methods. The micro transit hopefully will be something that will help us out. There has to be other ideas out there as well, but it's something that we're gonna have to investigate as a board to, again, we gotta be caring about the public's money. That's a very important role. But we also need to provide service as well. We can't just take the money and put it in a bank and say, well, here we are, we'll run 2 buses and well, how much money? So we have to find a balance, to be able to help.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And did you have one question you might want to ask us?
Yeah, so I'd like to bounce that question right back at you all. So basically, what do you find challenges and how would you overcome those challenges? So,
You want that from each of us or all, I mean, how do?
yeah, each of you don't mind.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, I had to talk, you get to
Okay,
talk.
okay. Well, I think certainly bring confidence back with the community, and that means everything to get our finances, which we're trying to do, that even the public without any training can go, oh, yeah. And that it's, we get the finance reports, which we have been this period of time. And that we can talk back and forth about it, and there are no, all disclosures are met. I think the board should be given all information, even if you can't, if it's a lot, to have a condensed amount. Talk to AI. I have no idea how to do that. I'd like to see that. I know in the community, we received comments that the bus is not, it's not convenient for them. And there's not enough trips, there's not enough loops. There's different times that you need to be there. And the big thing is finance and ridership. And I'd like to see, I think the micro transit is a big progress to that. I think we have to be very knowledgeable and work with ODOT and the state, I mean, and the governor, that you can't keep postponing what you're going to do with transportation funding. And that is a big obstacle to all the transit agencies in Oregon. I think that's all I should say. I mean, I should say, will say.
Thank you for that.
So, yeah. So for me, it's developing confidence in our from our county citizens regarding Sunset Empire Transportation District, increasing ridership, supporting our executive director and staff as they carry out our objectives, and also educating the public regarding not just the agency, but the way that public transportation is funded in our state.
Sure.
Okay. I think our challenges have significantly increased because of the current political climate and all the budgetary things that are happening, totally disregarding our citizens or especially our disenfranchised citizens. And so that makes our duty and responsibility to our community, I guess, quadruples our responsibility here. Because having worked in the system, I used to work for child welfare and having been involved in this community, certain kinds of things, I realize the significance and the importance to our community of having public transportation. And so my job and responsibility is even more so than it was a year ago, 2 years ago. And which means I have to personally and professionally be on top of this thing. Make sure my community is represented adequately regarding.
Thank you. So to wrap it up, I will say that I agree with everything that the other commissioners have said. And to me, one of the most important things that we have that we're facing right now is sustainable funding from the state.
Sure.
And in that, our role is to really make clear to people in our community, which is our larger community, not just people that are residing in Clatsop County, but people that come in and out of Clatsop County and that might be in other areas, the important role that public transit plays in people's lives. And they don't always see all of that it does. And so making sure that we're at every opportunity communicating that we are of value to this state and therefore we need to be funded by the state. So that is the most important priority, is the financial sustainability of our district.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming.
You can,
John.
And swap the next person. Melton in here.
Oh, it's so warm in here. In the freezer now.
Oh, you're trying to make me sweat.
So I don't know. Just gonna take.
It's a little warm in here. We're trying to problem solve and try and figure it out. Will you just briefly reintroduce yourself and let us know, remind us who you are?
I'm Kathleen Teeple. I live in Seaside. I have been a bookkeeper since the mid-70s. Worked in an accounting office during tax season. I am active in my church. I'm active in the Seaside community somewhat. I live out on a rural area. I haven't become involved in a lot of government or boards, but this one seemed to be something that I could help serve the community in. It's something that I can give back to the community. And so I think I could contribute.
So Pamela has a list of 5 questions that she's going to ask you one at a time.
Okay.
And
what do you believe is the role and responsibilities of the commissioner at the Sunset Empire Transportation District?
I believe that our job would be, if I were on it, to monitor the operations, guide them, be a watchdog of the operations, and provide assistance and guidance.
What is the most important skill you bring to the board and to Sunset Empire Transportation District?
Generally, I would say my best skill is common sense. I have the ability to look at both sides of issues and discern maybe the problem solving. So I guess maybe problem solving with good common sense.
What is your knowledge and experience with Oregon ethics law and how it applies to our board members as public officials?
I'm not very familiar with ethics law. As a member of the library board in Seaside, we did a review, but ethics is something that is required in a public transportation or any board or any governing body. I would say that ethics should be our guiding principle in everything that we do. So, although I'm not familiar with the law of it, ethics is a guiding principle that I think is one of the foundation of our lives.
What is your level of understanding of public meeting laws?
Robert's Rules of Order, I think, is about as much as I know. So I've been a member of the Seaside Library Board, and we do use the orders for the meetings. So that's really as much as I know about it.
What do you see as the biggest challenges facing our district, and how would you address them?
I could be wrong, but I believe, I gather that there's been some changes and some unsureness on the transportation district in the last couple of years. And so I would believe that the most important thing for the board right now, or as a commissioner on the board, would be to solidify the foundation of the transportation district. I think at this point, like I said, I could be wrong. You guys could be completely solid in everything, and then you can grow from a point of solidity. But I believe that the foundation is the most important thing, to get things so people can count on things, and you're not going to be shaken by problems and issues that come up. So I guess that would be my number one goal, would be to solidify the foundation. And then after the foundation is solid, then to improve on it.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of us?
No.
Thank you very much.
So pretty short. We're concise.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
It started at 9:01. You want a copy of the report back?
Well, right.
Good morning. Would you take a brief moment to reintroduce yourself and remind us who you are?
Both.
Both. Hopefully at the same time.
I am Matthew Stolberg. Don't remember what I said the other day. I am a disabled person. I have had a lot of experience working on advisory boards. I was elected as a public hospital district commissioner for a time in Eastern Washington. I really like to devote myself to public service as much as possible, to try to return to the community some of the benefits that I've gotten from them.
Okay. Commissioner Montero will be asking you a series of 5 questions. 5 questions, yes.
Good morning, Mandy. Okay. What do you believe is the role and responsibilities of a commissioner at the Sunset Empire Transportation District?
The role and responsibility. I believe that the primary role is to execute the administration of public funds. Make sure that the agency meets the agency's basic requirements, meets the public needs, and as open and fashion as possible. Reports to the public all of the actions, yeah, the policies that it uses to accomplish that work. And as a commissioner on that board, my responsibility would be to represent the public and to work to ensure that the interests of the agency and the interests of the board itself in compliance with state law are met, and that everything is done in a way that is representative of the best principles.
What is the most important skill you bring to the board and to Sunset Empire Transportation District?
Dedication to public service. That's the most important skill. Being able to assimilate information, to listen, and to use that information to guide my actions.
What is your knowledge and experience with Oregon ethics law and how it applies to our board members and public officials?
I admit that I'm quite deficient in that. I got some exposure to the OGBC training that was held in March, but I've learned since then that it's been updated a couple times. So I need to get more of that. I'm learning about open public meeting law in Oregon. It has some particular nuances to it that you have to be careful of. And basic ethical responsibilities really don't change from board to board across the United States, but they're all there, and I need to learn more of what it is specifically on this board in reference to not only state law but from charter bylaws.
It, but what is your level of understanding of public meetings law?
Rudimentary. It has been eye-opening how different it is from Washington to Oregon. And one of the biggest things is the incidental serial meeting, establishing a quorum, and the I don't really want to say pitfalls because they're not intended to be traps, but the many ways that you can go awry of that law, and how careful you need to be in conducting the business of the board.
And what do you see as the biggest challenges facing our district, and how would you address them?
I think the biggest challenges facing our district have to do with funding, public support, and just the realities of the availability of our services, and how challenging it is to meet community needs in what basically seems like a shrinking budget or a very limited budget. And the best way that I can say that I would address them is to get up to speed and learn as much as I can about the funding structure, about the statutory limitations, about what it is the board of plans to achieve strategically, what has been done up till now, and what we look to do in the future, if I were appointed to this board. and try to learn as much as possible so I can be more effective. I think that there's a lot of things that the general public just probably isn't tuned into that much, because that would be incredibly time consuming. I consider myself to be semi-retired in the sense that I am retired, I don't work anymore. And the semi part is nobody's paying me to be that way. So I have a lot of time, and I would put a lot of time into doing this, just as I did in the past. I used to take about 7 or 8 hours to prepare for a Seaside City Council. So when I attended those, I understood, or I hope to understand as much as possible as to what was going on, and can keep track of everything that was happening. I would do the same thing with this one.
And do you have a question that we can answer for you?
Not enough time constraint.
Okay.
I would really look forward to speaking to all of you in the appropriate circumstances to try to learn as much as possible and to get up to speed and find out, what it is that I can do to be helpful here. I really think that I can potentially be helpful here, or not have some, especially today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the best answer I can give.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't need to leave, but if you want to move back to the spotlight, we'll invite everybody.
We are having a great combo.
I'm
So, for the interest of the meeting records, we have 5 candidates. Only 4 of them are present today. That doesn't mean we are not still considering the 5th candidate. The 5th candidate had a medical emergency, was not able to be here. And so the information that we have already from them will still be considered by the board as far as nominating the position. Just so we're clear.
I mean, take a 5-minute break or no? The minutes,
Do we need
I didn't mention it.
Yes. So, we will reconvene at 10:17. How's that?
Good, thank you.
Recess until 10:17. Okay. The board has finished asking their questions of their candidates and hopefully has taken some time to think about which candidates they'd like to nominate. We have 3 vacant positions. So we will go in order of the position number. So position number 1 is a 4-year term, which is that in 2020, all candidates will need to run in 2027. In 2027, position 1 would be running for a 4-year term. Bear with me here, gets a little, gets confusing in your head. Position 5 will also be a 4-year term. So that person is completing the last half of the current term. And in 2027, they would also be running for a 4-year term if they ran for that position. Position 7 will be running in 2027, but only for a 2-year term because that position was just elected. So you're just at the beginning of that term if you're appointed to that position. Any questions about that part? Everybody understand?
Yes.
Guillermo?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to make sure that we were really clear about that because that, can make a difference sometimes. So we will open nominations for position 1 from the board. When the board must nominate a person and then we will vote on that person and then we will move to the next one. So if there's more than one nomination for the same position, then we're going to have a problem because we have to be unanimous on which person we vote. So if there's 2 people nominated for the same position, then we vote for which person. But if we split the vote, we have to start over again. Does that make sense? Because we are only a quorum, we have to be unanimous on our votes. Does everybody understand?
Yeah. It's how we've had to be for the last.
Because we only have a quorum. Everybody gets it.
But you can nominate the person who would lose. Say if 2 people were nominated for a particular position, one is obviously going to lose. So can that person be nominated for another position?
Sure. Yes. So
sure.
Yeah, that's what we're going.
Okay.
We are not nominating all 3 positions at the same time. So one at a time, we nominate somebody for position 1, and whoever is then voted in to be appointed in that position would then be allocated that position. They can't be nominated for another position because they've already been approved for that one. But anybody else can then be nominated for the other 2 positions. So we have 5 candidates. Everybody's clear on the names. Everybody's taken their notes. Everybody's made their decisions. So we will open the floor for nominations for position number 1. Commissioner Allegria.
I nominate Penny, and I'm sorry your name escaped. Thank you. I knew it was simple. Simple name.
We have 1 nomination for Penny York for position 1. Do we have any other nominations for position 1? Going once, going twice. All those voting for Penny York for position 1 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You know what? We should do that by roll call because
Yeah,
this needs to be recorded. So Commissioner Romero,
Aye.
Commissioner Allegria,
Aye.
Commissioner Montero,
Aye.
Chair Klezak votes aye. We have our position 1 nominee. Congratulations. We will now open nominations for position number 5. Have any nominations for position number 5?
I nominate Matt Stolberg for position number 5.
Any other nominations for position number 5? Position number 5. Going once? Going twice? No other nominations for position number 5. Matt Stolberg has been nominated for position number 5. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Allegria?
Aye.
Commissioner Montero?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Matt Stolberg has been nominated for position number 5, has been appointed for position number 5. Sorry. We now open the floor for nominations for position number 7. Do you have any nominations for position number 7?
Yes, I nominate John Lake.
We have John Layton has been nominated for position number 7. Are there any other nominations, Commissioner Allegria?
And I'm gonna mess up the name, Suzanne Temple?
We don't have
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Kathleen, pardon me.
Kathleen Teeple. So we have 2 nominations for position number 7. Any other nominations? Okay, seeing no other nominations, we close the nominations. So we can do this right now. Commissioner, when your name is called, please state the name of the person that you are voting for. Does that make sense? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Romero,
I'm voting for John Lake.
Commissioner Allegria,
Kathleen Temple.
Commissioner Montero,
Kathleen T.
Chair Klezak votes for Kathleen Teeple. The motion fails because it is not unanimous.
So I move to nominate Kathleen Teeple.
The position 7 nomination has been made for Kathleen Teeple.
My second.
And doesn't use second, sorry.
Excuse me, wrong. Okay.
Any other nominations?
John Lake.
Second nomination for John Layton. We will vote again. Any other nominations? Sorry, forgot one step in my mind. Any other nominations? Okay, we'll vote again. Commissioner Montero,
Kathleen Teeple.
Commissioner Allegria,
Kathleen Temple.
Commissioner Romero.
John Layton.
Motion fails. Nomination fails. I want to propose a new option to the board that we leave this position open if we cannot come to an agreement on commissioners until after the swearing in of new board members.
We can't break
No,
this.
I understand that.
And
So we're going to swear in the other 2 board members
Okay,
and then we can vote again.
you mean today?
yes,
Oh, I see. Okay,
Does that,
Yes.
I would accept a motion for that.
I move that we suspend the nomination for position number 7 until we swear in the 2 new commissioners.
I'll second that.
To suspend nominations for position number 7 until following the swearing in of the other 2 commissioners. It has been made by Commissioner Montero and seconded by Commissioner Romero. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we will swear in 2 of our new board members. I do. So Matt and all right, so if Matt and Penny would come forward to the 2 empty spaces at the table there.
What's gonna work best for you?
Just pull up there. You have a quick question, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for faith reasons. Instead of swearing.
Sure.
Right.
You say the words you need to say. Okay, so you get one just for me, so we'll use this one. All right, so raise your right hand and affirm or solemnly repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Matthew Stolber,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon,
and that I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of Sunset Empire Transportation District
and that I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of the Sunset Empire Transportation District.
position. Did I give you the right ones?
This is number one.
Well, swap those. So Kenny's 1 and you're 5. Sorry.
We'll just say.
Yeah.
Commissioner position number 5,
To which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so I affirm.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations. And if you would
Congratulations.
swap those. Fill in your names. The top one you get to keep and the bottom one we need to have for Nate.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. All right, and we're gonna put you straight to work.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, did you say to fill them both out?
Yes. One of them's for you to keep and one of them's for our records, but you don't have to do that this instant. We will move on to back to the item on the agenda of nominating and voting on position number 7 to fill the board. So we have 3 candidates, just to restate what's happening, that are still that could be nominated for position number 7. We have Kathleen Teeple, John Layton, and Bill Ray. So I will reopen the floor to nominations for position number 7.
I nominate Kathleen Teeple for position number 7.
We've received 1 nomination for Kathleen Teeple. Any other nominations?
John Layton.
We've received a 2nd nomination for John Layton, position number 7. Any other nominations? Going once? Going twice? Okay, nominations are closed. So I will call out the commissioners' names and you will vote for the candidate that you would like to fill position number 7. Commissioner Montero,
Kathleen Teeple.
Commissioner Alegria,
Kathleen Teeple.
Commissioner Romero,
John Layton.
Commissioner Stolberg,
Kathleen People.
Commissioner York.
Kathleen People.
The Chair Plezek votes Kathleen Teeple.
Is it
2, 3, 5 to 1. Kathleen Teeple, sorry, I had to count them up because I wanted that to be part of the record.
Yeah.
So 5 to 1, Kathleen Teeple has been nominated or appointed to the board of Sunset Empire Transportation District. Congratulations. So we will go through that swearing in again.
And you can have a seat over here.
And you can sit over here. I'm going to borrow. I'm going to borrow one of yours to read it out. So repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Kathleen Teeple,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Oregon,
and that I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of Sunset Empire Transportation District
and that I will faithfully and honorably conduct myself in the office of Sunset Empire Transportation District,
Commissioner position number 7,
Commissioner position number 7,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. So now we have thankfully a full board again. John, thank you for being here. Very, very much appreciated. Bill, when you listen and watch this, same goes to you. Very, very much appreciate your application. Please also heal up and get well soon. We hope you are okay. You will see that there's another agenda item coming up where we very much need some help and input and people, where your passion, your knowledge, and your expertise would come in very handy. So please know that we are still looking for you to participate in the board in ways that we have available. On the Transportation Advisory Committee is a very important committee that we don't have enough people on right now that we need to fill, as well as the Budget Committee coming up. So those are both positions where we very much could use some new, fresh opinions and people and passion. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations to our new board members. Next agenda item, the TAC committee timeline. So we've been wrestling this bear for quite a while of trying to get the TAC committee reestablished and meeting. We have some important vacancies on the committee, and we had somebody assigned that then later resigned, and so this has been put off for quite a while. It is part of our agreement with ODOT and receiving STIF monies, which is a large portion of the monies that we use to operate, that we have to have a TAC committee, a Transportation Advisory Committee. That's what TAC stands for. And so we need to establish positions open and put applications for that committee out. Commissioner Montero has been working on a timeline for that because the previous commissioner is no longer on the board that was assigned to this. And so we have a timeline. I'll let her take it from here instead of me talking about it.
Okay, and what I realize is that the new commissioners do not have a copy of the timeline. I think we did have some extra copies.
I think they're in front of Ken.
That are, they're in front of Kathleen. So maybe the two of you could share that one. Because
I think Penny there's some in front of Penny.
okay. So I put together a timeline because we have postponed getting the commissioners, the members of our Transportation Advisory Committee for several meetings, and we really need to move forward with this. And we made a decision not to attract commissioner applicants and TAC transit.
That's not correct. You need one board member.
No, at the same time. At the same time, new commissioners and TAC at the same time. So that's why we're on a bit of a fast track so that we can get this committee filled as soon as possible. And I need to change dates on the timeline, the tasking timeline. So I did the same thing for this committee that I did for the commissioner attraction timeline. So I'm going to walk you through it. Basically, so today a work group would be appointed to do the work that needs to be done to solicit candidates. The chair is responsible for that. That needs to be done today. And I'm suggesting that work group have one current board member and one new commissioner and a staff person who supports their work. Because this is on a quick timeline, we have to determine which positions need to be filled. I think we can determine that today and determine the term. Again, these are positions that are supposed to be 2 years in length, and according to the bylaws for the TAC, they get appointed on July 1st. We don't know. I'm not sure that we have a record that tells us how many months are left in any of the open terms. So we may be starting from scratch on this, but that's something that that maybe we can determine today, or we have the work group figure this out. We need to verify the status of the current TAC members. I think we have maybe 3 people on the TAC. What we don't know is if they want to continue or if they are in fact current. And the reason we don't know that is because there has not been a TAC meeting in a year, 13 months, something like that. And when was the last TAC meeting?
I don't know the date, but it's been less than.
I thought it was December of last year.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, and that's again why we need to get the TAC up and running again, because there is a requirement per the state that the TAC must meet at least twice a year. And I don't believe, and we're not meeting it. Because when I did this timeline, I misconstrued in my head when our next board meeting was. So I squeezed things together. I want to change some dates. So the work group verifying the current members would have until December 29th to do that. Start the work today, until December 29th. The work group would create an application packet. Some of that is already created, some of it is not. That would also have to be done by 12/29. Draft a press release would have to be done by 12/29. Distributing the press release would be the work of the staff, and they would distribute that December 3rd. And that would be distributed to website, newspapers, Facebook page, etc. And I'll just add, I believe it is my responsibility as a board member here, and I believe it's a responsibility of all board members to go out and attract people to our committees. That's being an ambassador. That's supporting the district. So I consider it part of my job. The application packet would be available on the website and at the transit center. It would be available from December 30th to January 19th. The deadline for applications, I would propose to be noon on January 19th. Then those applications would come to the board at the board's meeting on January 22nd. And part of the application is also the requirement that those who are applying to be on the TAC would attend that meeting, so the board members are meeting the people, being able to have conversations, etc., before the board actually appoints the people to the TAC. So there'd be the selection by the board of the people to be on the TAC. Then at that meeting also, the chair and the board would appoint the one commissioner that is on the TAC. Currently, Pamela is on the TAC, and I think you indicated you no longer wanted to be on it, but I don't know what you're thinking now. So that we don't have to worry about till January to talk about. Okay. And then I just added below that TAC members need to have public meetings and ethics training after that, and then a first meeting date needs to be decided. Right. So that's a fast timeline, especially getting everything put together so that it can be out there by the 29th and 30th.
So I will note that we do have some information regarding what the current TAC membership is. And the work group will be starting there by figuring out who on that current list wants to continue. And then that will determine how many open positions we have and which mandatory positions need to be filled, in addition to any other positions that we can fill on the TAC. Commissioner Romero.
So when will we get a response in terms of the current folks that want to continue?
Well, the work group will find that out.
Okay.
Yeah, and the work group would need to know that before the press release, et cetera, goes out on the 29th or the 30th, because do we need to advertise for 5 positions or 3 positions? So we need to know the current people, are they still?
And I will just note that this committee has, like I said, some mandatory qualifications that
Yeah.
some positions have to have. So
And
there's a list of that as far as membership criteria. And so when people apply, they can apply for whether they want to apply for those, whether they have those qualifications that they could fit those mandatory criteria. So we have public transportation providers or nonprofit entities that provide public transportation services. That's a mandatory qualification. Low income individuals, that's another mandatory that we have to have on that committee. Individuals age 65 or older or people with disabilities, another mandatory qualification. And so there's several of those. So we have to make sure that our list of who is on the TAC already and wants to continue, we have to know which if they fit one of those.
Yeah.
So currently the TAC is 9 people, but state requirement is 5. So we have to have at least 5 people on our TAC.
And we have current bylaws on the TAC that may or may not meet all the requirements of the state. The other handout that I gave everybody was I took the state requirements and simply made it into a handout in each section. And it tells you what kinds of positions, what kinds of representation, demographics, the composition. I think that we don't need to do the work ahead of time of looking at the bylaws, that kind of thing. That's going to be the work of the reformed TAC when they start their meetings. But this gives you all of the basics.
If people self-select into the categories,
Yes,
we don't determine where they fit. They self-select into these categories. So,
and some applicants may actually fit into more than one category, and they can check those off. That certainly makes it easier for us to see, okay, well, this person fits into 3 categories, and we've got already somebody that fits into this one, but oh, here's another required category, and this person fits into it. So we're gonna let them be that representative. So,
Commissioner Legria.
One of the problems, I think, is that people don't know what the TAC does. And in the past, there's been a list of projects which is required, but I've never understood who decides those. It seemed like the, I don't know, executive director. So it was almost like a rubber stamp when it got to the TAC. So that somehow that needs to change. And I think it can and still fit the rules of it. And also as a note, the board cannot change a project unless it writes to ODOT why they don't want the project once it is approved by the Transportation Advisory Committee.
Commissioner Romero.
You mentioned that the minimum is 5 folks, and one of those is required to be a board member.
Yes. Well, the board is the liaison.
Okay.
They're
They're one of the
doesn't have a vote.
Yeah. They're just a liaison.
Okay.
Commissioner Montero.
and they don't necessarily, they don't chair the committee either. They're the liaison. So everything that Pamela is talking about is in this section, and this is what the state wrote up. So in the application packet, what I foresee is making this more readable, more
Plain language.
so that people, and we do have a bit of a job description from the past for TAC members. So nobody's going to apply for something if they don't know what their responsibilities are. And so we want to make it clear what your job is if you're a TAC member. And I agree with you. This is not a rubber stamp committee. It has been in the past. It is not going to be in the future, in my estimation. I'm not talking for the board. I'm talking for myself. And, but people need to understand what their responsibilities are, what the requirements are from the state. And the district needs to make sure that it forms a TAC that adheres to all of the state parameters.
Okay,
May I ask a question?
yes.
First of all, the sign thing, how we raise our hand. Okay,
But you can also actually just raise your,
Okay.
yeah.
I have a question for Tina, because you had said that if, or one of you had said that if we have somebody that meets several of the requirements to be on the TAC, like being a disabled person and a provider, that person can severally.
No, I'm sorry, I was not clear then. Each person on the TAC would only represent one demographic. Okay, and the state requires 5 people. We've been running at 9 with multiple vacancies. So it seems to make sense that we shift to looking to start off with appointing only 5. And then the TAC gets to change the bylaw, or gets to recommend to the board changes for the bylaws of the TAC.
Okay, because my concern was somebody that would
No,
fill several roles couldn't really vote against themselves.
yes,
Right.
I totally see what you're saying.
Okay,
Commissioner Alegria.
okay. Since I will be leaving, I just wanted to mention, and now it's out of my mind, that you have the requirements, not this lengthy, you can do this lengthy, but also the time period of which they meet. I mean, I think there's been I don't think 1 to 2 meetings, so that there's been a lack of time commitment and how much say they have on the projects. And one of the things I'd like to suggest for the work group is that to mention that these people can recommend a project. It may not fit all the requirements, but that would show that we have a lot of places, projects to pick, and what the concerns are.
So I just want to kind of summarize what we're doing here, and that I will be appointing one of the new commissioners along with one of the commissioners that was here prior to the work group. And then I will be asking staff to assign a staff member to help us with making sure that things get posted online and are formatted correctly and are distributed and are received here at the transit district. So those are going to be the asks. But what we're going to be doing is that work group is going to be taking this information that we have already, consolidating and updating it and getting it out to the public so that we have an accurate list of our needs, an accurate list of the people that are fitted, that are already serving and willing to continue to serve, and the timeline for that application that will be the application and its release along with a press release. So those are the jobs of the work group. The work group does not then monitor and take care of the TAC later. The work group is just to get this process started and underway. The TAC itself is its own responsibility. They will choose their chair. They will then take the requirements by the state and mold them into how they function as our advisory committee. Does that make sense? Is that a good summary? Everybody understand what's going on? So I would take volunteers from our board that would like to serve on this work group.
Since I put so much time and energy into it already, I'd be more than happy to continue as the current or the whole commissioner.
Okay. And of the new commissioners, do we have a volunteer?
I am more than willing to do it if somebody else feels strongly about it. See them, but
Okay, so there we have our work group. Commissioner York and Commissioner Montero will be leading the work group. They will be in direct contact with a staff member of our directors choosing to make sure that these things can be posted and formatted in the way they need to be official SETD information. Thank you.
And that's pretty much the logistics is what we need, is the logistical support.
Commissioner Alegria.
I would suggest that to make copies of the statutes for public meetings and ethics planning for the TAC people and for the board members, so they can read and, run through it.
That's, yeah. Commissioner Montero.
Okay, so typically, when a board member or a work group puts things together, it has to come back to the board for review and approval. With this short a timeline, that really is not possible. And so I would want to see that the board kind of blesses Penny and me, and trust that what we put out would be accurate, etc. I would also commit that before anything goes out, we will send it all to the board, but not for the board to say, change this, but the board to say, hey, there's an error there. That's wrong, so that we make sure we are saying things correctly, but not wordsmithing.
We're not discussing it. Information will be provided to the board as to what will be distributed, but you may not then discuss that information and make recommendations about what to change or how to change it, make it sound better. But if there's a date error, if there's a name spelling error, if there's things like that that need to be fixed, you can report directly back to the person that sent it. Do not reply all ever. Is that we good? Okay. And so we would like a motion to approve this work group to develop and distribute the application and application materials for the TAC committee.
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Montero to allow the work group to develop and distribute application materials for the TAC committee. And it's seconded by Commissioner Romero. Discussion. Anybody have questions about this? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. Chair votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. First unanimous vote for the whole board.
I know. And I just want to make sure this timeline is acceptable. Okay, the corrected timeline, that I'm the only one who has a.
I'll write it down.
Yes.
Okay, on to item 10, new business, which is the SBAO conference, which is kind of a on purpose. The way that is led up to that is that one of the benefits of getting all of these pieces in place at the next board meeting is that not only do our new commissioners get to take advantage of the Special Districts Association of Oregon's conference, which happens in Seaside this year from February 5th till 8th, is an excellent opportunity for everybody to get some really good special districts board training under their belts right away. So if we get those TAC members appointed, we can also hopefully get them to attend some sessions that would be most valuable for them as well. So SBAO conference is, is February 5th through 8th in Seaside. Very, very valuable conference. Because we don't have to pay for lodging for this conference, it also makes it a conference that we can highly encourage board members, all the board members that we need, are able to attend, and I very highly recommend, especially the new board members, to attend the whole conference as much as possible. There's lots of really great information, networking, and people that you can gather up information from like sponges at that conference. So be ready to have your heads hurt after 3 days. We will need to know if you are able and interested in attending. I would say by next week, if you would email me to let me know so that we can pass that on. This conference does sell out. They do sell out. So there's about 250 slots of it. That's not right.
Seats.
Openings. No, that might be what's available right now. So I think that that's what I saw, was there's only about 250 slots available at this point in time. And they just opened registration 2 weeks ago. So
Could we take a count now of people who think they want to go?
anybody not able to go and not interested in going to this conference, doesn't fit with your calendar, you're not interested, you're not going to go. February 5th through 8th. Excellent. So we're going to have a full board representation there.
And for me, we need to figure out a way. I represent 2 special districts, and so SETD only has to pay half of my registration.
I will reach out to SBAO to figure out how to split that registration. Another benefit that this board has is that I also don't have any registration fees because I am on the SDAO board. I am actually your current vice president of the SDAO board. So you don't have to pay for my registration either for my service on the SDAO board.
I don't need to register.
You do not.
I'd like to recommend to our new commissioners that you go online and look up Special Districts Association of Oregon, SBAO, yes. We as a special district, all special districts in the state should belong to us. It's kind of like the professional organization for special districts, just like League of Oregon Cities is the organization for elected officials in municipalities. You can see what they offer. You can see what we get from them. You can also
There's also
see
resources you can access right there on their page.
absolutely, and you'll see the schedule of events for the conference. So this is it's another way to broaden your information right now.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Special district offers lots of training. And one of the benefits that we get from being part of special districts is that there's also an online training portal, which at some point will get you connected with, and you will be able to do some trainings on your own time. There's a virtual training for ethics and for public meetings law and for all kinds of stuff that we need to know as commissioners. So we'll make that available for you. So happy to hear nobody has any big blocks in their calendar that they can't attend. So next item of business
If we
is,
can just add on the training that we are required as elected officials to attend at least once per term the ethics and public meeting law training. So for those of you who haven't yet, you need to kind of put that in your brain. The sooner you do it, the better.
Yep. True. Okay, next item is the letter of support. Executive Director Card.
What is it? What we see, that's somebody's.
That's a person's icon, one of
Oh,
our staff.
okay, okay. Oh,
Can you swap the view, Jason? Is it possible? Director Carr.
Yes, good morning. Seeking approval of letter of support for Columbia Memorial Hospital. The foundation director has forwarded this to me. They are seeking funds for the rural health transformation from the state of Oregon. their grant that they had received for FEMA grant and through the BRIC, Building Resistance Infrastructure and Communities grant, was awarded and then it was canceled.
However,
However,
they may still get it because a federal judge has said that it can't be canceled.
in the meanwhile, they've asked us to support them and they're applying to another grant through the Rural Health Transformation Program through the state of Oregon. So this letter here is just requesting a letter of support, and they would just put our logo on their letter as a way of showing it. So my request is that you approve the letter of support and that we support them in their fundraising initiatives. The Columbia Memorial Hospital is a significant partner of ours. We transport many of their patients and clients, and they're a vital healthcare provider in our community. And many of them use our transportation network to connect to them. So appreciate support of our partner and support of them in their fundraising endeavor.
We also support them in that many of their employees use the transit system. I would make the motion that we support Columbia Memorial Hospital's request in the from the Rural Health Transformation Program. And authorize the executive director to send the letter of support.
I second it.
Motion has been made to support the Rural Health Transformation Program and Columbia Memorial Hospital's efforts in funding, and authorize the executive director to sign and send the letter. And it was made by Commissioner Montero and seconded by Commissioner Alegria. All those in discussion.
Just to summarize, this is a letter of support attached to their grant application.
Any other
Yes.
discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion passes unanimously.
Second unanimous.
We're on a roll. Since you have a four things of Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays.
Thank you. Have a good trip. Have a good, safe trip.
Thank you.
Item 11, correspondence. Have we received any correspondence? No correspondence.
No correspondence.
On to executive director report.
Thank you. We have been really busy. We have been dealing with a lot of weather and other elements. Staff has performed very admirably, and we did not really have any significant service disruptions. We've had some minor things, but we've been able to stay relatively on schedule. I would point out that staff in the last couple of days with the power outage and everything, we had to do some things and moving around. And so we were able to work out of Warrenton and we were able to live here. So, I mean, it worked out really well. So kudos to the operations and folks that supported that, because we were able to keep things moving along. In my report, talk about STIF funding for the legislature. So give you background, there was a special session of the legislature that passed an initiative or legislation that enabled funding to be provided for rural transportation district, and we were going to receive more funding. Since that occurred, there's been a referendum that has basically called that out to be voted by the people. If that is certified and validated, the money we were anticipating, we were not going to receive. They will not be collecting that. That will be deferred until the November election.
Potentially.
Potentially.
It will be deferred. It will be deferred in the better state
But they won't be collecting the funding
until
the
there's
following
been a
year.
vote. Until there's been a vote.
And that's the November.
I don't see how that's November 27 is when the vote will happen. And I don't see how they can go back and get the money.
The time that they will vote on it has not been determined. So until there is a vote by the people, it will not be collected or distributed.
Right. And all I was trying to share was that the money that we were anticipating receiving, we will not be receiving. We're still operating on the same assumptions that we had before. So until that all gets validated and that comes out, we'll have more information, more accurate information. We'll share that with you through that. The next one was attended STIF amendment training. So the STIF is one of our primary sources of funding. It's state transportation funding, and we get that every biennium. In this amendment training, which we receive, we are able to go in and look at our projects and amend those projects to adjust for either influx, additional funds or changes in our programs. We only get a one-time opportunity to do that. So we'll be doing that, and it's due by March 2nd. So we're working on that now. This is not required to be reviewed by the TAC, but we will make the adjustments and bring it to the January board, our recommendation. I've offered positions, good news, I've offered positions for the executive assistant and the human resources, and confirming the executive assistant has accepted the position. And we'll have a new person here January 5th.
Fifth, you said?
5th.
Fifth, okay.
5. And HR, have we? Still pending. It's still pending. We also received a grant, my first grant. I almost don't want to mention it, but it was for $850.
Hey, money is money.
Yeah, well. So we did receive a grant. We have applications for other grants that we're working on that are probably more along the lines of the cybersecurity grant, which is listed next, is about 50 to 80,000, and then our mobility manager has another grant in for 150,000. So this is, think of it like a mustard seed, right? It's our first one. We got it. Hopefully, it'll help us grow into something. We did just a quick introduction to management concepts of continuous improvement and the Kaizen method. We're just trying to look for ways to improve our staff and change our kind of modus operandi. So we're trying to look at other things. It's kind of an old school approach, but as we are looking through our daily activities and our daily processes, we're uncovering opportunities. And I think we've done a number of things in terms of where we put our money in the bank, some of the credit card stuff. We will be able to save some money. This is not big money. This is a line of $850. But all these little savings that we are collecting amount to savings opportunities. And I'll share a report with you in January. We did attend the SDAO sponsored risk management training with several of the staff. There's a lot of opportunities there that we have to work on here. I think we're going to make that a priority in the new year. I did cooperate with the city of Astoria Fire Department. We're working on an MOU with them for emergency response. We're looking to take their MOU and kind of make it a template for some of our other MOUs that we would have, or IGAs. I will bring that to the board in January. Attended the partners and Clatsop County business meeting. Attended the Northwest Area Commission on Transportation virtually, and then Representative Javadi is here. Javadi. On there. Javadi was here on November 7th, and came and we did a photo opportunity with our bus, for our new buses that we received last year, or earlier this year. That's all I have. I have the team's reports to follow from our team.
Commissioner Montero? I do have a question.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
Item number 4, you do mention the microtransit. That is a grant that I think
Probably.
it's from Providence, yes. Do we have to spend all the money by the end of this year? There's a term that says when the money has to be all spent. Also, what kind of report do we have to provide them? And is there an opportunity to renew that grant?
We're looking at that now.
Okay,
Yeah. We think we pretty much expended the funds. Probably not a lot left, and if there is a little bit left, it's not gonna extend very far. So we're gonna look at that a little bit more, and we haven't reconciled all the accounting things. So we may have not spent it all, but we may have some things that we have to pay for that are not quite, so I think I will have a conversation with them and kind of solidify that. We're obviously asking for more funds, but it's in this constrained environment. So sure that they're willing to extend at this point. We do have a grant application in for $150,000 to extend our microtransit with veterans. So it's a different approach, but that would be more of a larger scope and larger geographical area. Of the
and
county.
what organization is that with, that you're making the grant?
What is that with?
That
Application
was VA,
with the VA?
with the VA
Okay.
specifically.
Yeah, I mean, is that the grant is coming from the VA?
Yes, the grant was, yes, like, yep, grant opportunity was, yes.
And so we'll get a report about at some point, on the success of our microtransit.
Yeah, we'll have a year-end report. It's due in January. So we will, once we have completed the report and reconciled all that, we'll bring a report back.
Thank you.
Commissioner Romero.
Yeah, the question I have, it's not related to what you just verbalized, but what is the status of the modifying this building? We had some discussion about modifying the building.
Yeah, at this point, we're not doing any major modifications right now. I think we're just trying to get the wavy carpet replaced. So we're just trying to figure out where the funding is going to come for that, because we have a certain amount of money and it's going to cost twice as much. So before I pull the trigger and spend on that, I want to make sure that, all those little savings opportunities, all the other things, make sure we have adequate resources to cover that before I make any sort of expenditure. If it goes over the amount, over 10,000, we'll bring that to the board.
And as I recall, the intended purpose was to make some room for.
So we're gonna full staff over here. We're gonna consolidate our executive team and some of our other leadership here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Montero.
And one more question, several meetings ago, the board authorized that the district purchase red cards for to be available here at the transit center for the Hispanic population. Has that been accomplished? Well, for anybody, yes. Has that been
No, we have
accomplished?
not done that.
Those are available for free online too, to print out yourself. I can provide
Yeah,
Well,
please.
somebody with a link.
Send me that.
Being nonprofit and governmental, we can get them for free. The city of Seaside has done that.
Any other questions for Director Carr before we move on to the next report?
I do have a question before I
Please do.
move on to the next report.
Yes,
May I be excused for a few moments?
certainly. At any time you don't need to get permission, you just take care of yourself. Moving on.
Hello. So this last month and a half, I've been a little bit busy.
So you are again, so for the benefit of everybody.
Of course, my name is Madai Ross, and I am the
Mr.
Human
Crowley.
Resources Manager for Sunset and Consultation District. This last month and a half, I have been a little bit busy, posting a lot of open positions that we have had. We have been interviewing a lot of candidates. We have been very blessed to be able to have hired 4 new drivers. I have offered positions for 3 other candidates, 2 of which have already accepted the position, and 1 of which is pending, which is the new Human Resources Manager. Hopefully, we can have that person start soon. I have created a policy program and forms for a tuition reimbursement program that we're trying to work for. that will be helping our employees and in providing them with the tools that they need to actually perform their jobs better. This will facilitate any knowledge gap that they have, that they can go to the community college or any class that they feel would help them gain new skills to bring to the table and help the organization as well as the community. This is something that the director will be working with finance to make sure that the fundings are available, to make sure that it takes place. And I have also created the first draft of all of the job descriptions for SETD. This will make the new HR manager that comes on board, it will make a smoother process for them because the first draft is already done. So they would just having to finish the edits. So it will be super quick and easy. This will be my last meeting with the board of directors. So I would like to officially thank everybody for welcoming me to the organization. It has been a pleasure and thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Terham. I really appreciate seeing the workplace demographics in your report. That's very helpful. I do have a question. I think the tuition reimbursement program is really very good. Do we have that already in our budget?
We already have it we already have a policy for that. While the money is not directly budgeted for it, we do have it in our training.
Okay. All right, thanks. Questions? Okay. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Kelly Smith. I'm the finance officer for those of you just joining us. Just to kind of touch over a few things. We had our workers' comp audit and we passed. For me, it was the first actual workers' comp audit of that statute that I had gone through. So it was interesting to have him come in, gather all of the information and get through and to pass it. I didn't really know what to expect from it. So we were excited about that. I assisted with the interviews for HR and executive assistant. Sat in on some different meetings and trainings. And I had the opportunity to go to the OGFOA conference in Eugene. So I had applied for a scholarship for that. So I received the scholarship for my lodging and the conference. So it was nice to not have those extra expenditures to the district. That is a conference. It's Oregon Government Finance Officers Association. So it is Oregon based and you get a lot of Oregon knowledge out of that, not just government finance. So I appreciated getting to go to that conference. And it's one that I look forward to every year. In the past, they've had it in person twice a year. And going forward, it's only going to be in person once a year. So I'll be looking to try to continue that going forward. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Morning, I'm
Morning.
Jennifer Geisler. I'm your operations manager. So just to give you a quick overview, what I do, I oversee the bus operations, the customer service operations, which is here in the front lobby, the fleet, and then the building maintenance. So we have two buildings with the district. We have this building and we have two separate buildings, but they're together in Warrenton, and that's where the fleet parks, that's where the drivers and the fixed route supervisors are located. And so we have those grounds that we take care of and maintain and work through. So besides what I have written in my board report, I do want to say the very last thing, identifying and implementing cost savings with Verizon. We've just now been able to finally approve and make those changes. And so those new changes have saved us nearly $350 a month. I think it's more like $330. And so those are exciting for us. It might seem small, but small is big for us right now. So, and we'll have a new phone for Mobility Manager and new tablets that our drivers work off of for schedule and rides for the curb to curb. So having new devices and electronics like that are huge. And then when they're updated and current, it keeps us functioning better. And so the last tablets were purchased. There was a set in 2018, and then the second fixed route set, I think, were purchased like 2020. So that's how old and outdated we were. And we were running the risk of not being supported anymore. And so we needed to update. So those are exciting changes. Drivers don't know yet. So it's like Merry Christmas. And they're like, Jen, why do you do this to us? So technology is not always, fun. But other than that, I didn't have any other items we have had a lot of flooding, power outages yesterday. I think as a team, we worked great through these unpredicted, knowing what was going to happen, but we got through it, kept the routes on the road, as David already mentioned. Didn't have to make much alteration. Maybe internally, there's some changes we can make and do better. But I think we got the word out as quickly as we could, being short-staffed, and kept the community moving as best as we could. So,
Commissioner Matera. And I have to commend you on the timeliness of notices on Facebook. That's not only good for keeping our clients and our passengers, et cetera, informed, but it's also good public relations, because not only people who use public transit read that, but other people do. And it helps to, I think, increase the confidence and the notice that we have a public transit system.
very much understood. And I want to say this is definitely a team effort. As a team, we succeed together and we fail together. We publicly posted in shelters because not everybody had internet. I woke up yesterday morning with no phone, no power, and no internet at 3:30 in the morning. So I was on the road and here because I didn't know if that was countywide. So not, also making sure that we could read it in the shelter that we were running, and then later find out that there is internet. We can get it posted on Facebook and our website for those who did have internet, and knowing that we need to have that and other media and for people to be able to have access to. And then phone calls, knowing that the phones do work here. So because phones are internet based in the business.
So I want to echo what Commissioner Montero said and just give kudos to the staff for their proactive posting and things, because yes, that is our outward facing, voice. And especially when there's unexpected weather. We live in Seaside. The flooding south of Seaside is not a little thing. That is a major thing that impacts people's lives. And so that is an opportunity for us to reach out way beyond our usual riders into the larger community, because they may be looking at, how do I get home to my kids? How do I get to a doctor's appointment? How do I get to work in a way that they can't do as they normally do? And so by being proactive and saying, we're out there, we're running, we can take care of getting you there way before, anybody is thinking about it. It puts us out there and says what we do and how we do it. And so thank you for getting that word out. Very much.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I'm not a phone person or computer person, but I was really glad to see those information posted right on.
Good. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have any polls?
I'm sorry. I will report on, sorry, Matt.
Before you go there, can I want to just ask a question and maybe make a suggestion or put in the back of our brains. The cities, the county, the electric company, they all have sort of a nixle where they can push out messages by text. And I'd like to see if maybe we at some point do the same thing.
That's it. And I, just to tag on, I think that one of the great places to get the word out is through the radio stations. When they're making the school closure announcements, they can also add in, and our buses are running on time and on schedule. And they would be happy to do that kind of thing because that's a public service announcement that they are repeating over and over again because they keep getting all the phone calls.
Right.
And
I
so
love
if we
this.
get into that channel.
Yeah, I love this feedback because we're gonna actually have a debrief after this meeting, staff is. And then what we did great, and then where we can always, improve. So these are great. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's 2 graphs for new commissioners. Those are our riderships over the last 2 years. They speak to the title on each square on that particular route. There's also a graph over system-wide, district-wide, both the curb to curb and the fixed route. So that can show you where we have grown, where we have maintained. Usually we see a change in ridership from summer to winter. People don't like to. Yesterday, our ridership was maybe half because we don't like to stand out in the rain and wind waiting for the next bus. So, and that's expected. So we know that those changes happen. And in the summer, we have visitors in town, and so they'll utilize our services. So you'll see the shift from month to month and definitely from summer to winter.
So is microtransit reflected in either of these?
Yes, they
Okay.
are labeled on the second set of graphs, and they are ride assist. Ride assist is paratransit, dial-a-ride, microtransit, and then we also are a provider for our Medicaid brokerage that covers Columbia County, Clatsop County, and Tillamook County, but we only provide Medicaid rides for our district service area. So, and that's Medicaid brokerage. I already say that, so. So we, but our first and foremost is we cover ADA paratransit, which is elderly and disabled. Dial-a-ride is Napa, Swenson, John Day. Anybody can ride that. It is a scheduled service. And Warrenton and Hammond, Miles Crossing, that's Dial-a-ride area also. And then the microtransit is in Seaside and Cannon Beach. So those are indicated in the next report, paratransit supervisor Nicole on page 49 in red, and that she has broken it down. She's not present today, but she's broken it down to reflect what was done, I believe, October, November, in that ridership for what each one of those did. And then for ADA paratransit, we receive applications, and we have a 21-day processing time to have those processed, determined, and then get a letter out in the mail. And we need to log those, keep track of those, and document. Any questions for the ridership and paratransit?
Thank you for providing that really excellent service for the district and the community. Very, very much needed addition to the fixed routes. Thank you. Commissioner Stolber.
I would just like to, don't know if this is appropriate space to do it, but I saw the name here on the report. Congratulate this agency and this board on their attention of Demisio for so many years. And hopefully we can keep it for 100 more. His wife would not like.
I was just going to say the exact same thing, but hopefully we can hang on to it for a long time.
It is a treasure.
Thank you. And last but not least.
No, definitely. My name is Jason Jones, and I am the district's mobility manager. And the one cool thing that I get to do is help older adults and people with disabilities. That's my core principle. So I'm out travel training with individuals, teaching them how to ride the bus, how to get out, access the community. I work with individuals with disabilities and try to get them to understand what transit is and to kind of move in directions that are healthy to just be productive in what they choose they want to be productive in. So we have a numerous amount of individuals that I work with. So like in my report, and I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me here, but I was pretty busy in the last, but thank you so much. Appreciate it. I was pretty busy with connection events. So like, for example, the Veterans Connect group that we went to, the Veterans Conference in November. I actually took, as a volunteer, one of the individuals that I work with, trained with, he wanted to give back some of his time. A lot of his family are military veterans. He's totally blind, and he just wants to get out and serve so much. I was like, come on down, work with us. And so we were there talking to up to 88 individuals, interacting with them. 55 of those 88 individuals I actually took off to the side and kind of gave them a very brief travel training, and was able to kind of work with them a little more. It's not so much just a greeting, but this was an actual sit down. Here's our services. Here's what we can do. And a lot of them were really interested in microtransit and incredibly interested in the potential future with the grant application we got in the VA. So we're looking to hopefully see that. That's another thing that I do is anytime there's an opportunity, I can help assist the district in producing more services, better programs, more money. I'll go out and find a way to do that and try to write parts of the grant, work with our executive director and try to help work that in the right direction for us. I am continuing to be in the Clatsop County Rural Health Coalition. That's a real important coalition that's together with a lot of other local facility managers that come together and just discuss all things healthcare locally. And what's really neat about that is I get to be right in the middle of the meeting with them discussing what is some of the most important challenges that they're facing. And in the last two meetings, they're putting together their strategic plan. Transportation wasn't any lower than 2 on their challenges. So we have a lot of interested individuals, a lot of interested other agencies that want to see microtransit really kind of come to fruition. As a matter of fact, they were kind of I wasn't in this part of the meeting, but they had a really long conversation on how microtransit could be funded through them. I don't know exactly where that went in that last conversation. Hopefully in the January meeting, I'll have a little more dialogue on that, but it's interesting. So keep your ears open for that. Let's see here. And then, basically, I do everything I can to support the district in whatever way I can. So working with Jennifer yesterday and trying to get the messages pushed out the right way. I wanted to highlight one thing. We have a lot of tenant that goes out and puts up all of our, signage and everything. What was really neat was that he went out yesterday. We had put signage up in the shelters, and literally this is how quickly everything changes. The moment he came back, it was like, hey, go out, take them down, because we're done. But that's our dedication to ensuring that the message is out to the public, and it's important to see that. So I also do some of the Facebook posts for you. That's an interesting job as well to do on the side. So got to get that message out there. We have to be clear and concise, ensure that all of our demographics are being represented and stuff. So we want to make sure that everyone can access that information as easily as possible. So other than that, I don't really have anything more other than I'm just busy. I got a lot of stuff to do, but if there's any questions, I can definitely take any questions. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say, if you haven't checked out Jason's videos on transit and transportation and its value to our community online on YouTube, it's worth the visit. So look him up.
Thank you. I want to add one more thing. So to the new members, if you are interested in a tour of our facilities and would like to set up a time with me, I'm happy to meet with you, and I can show you what the transit center is here. I can show you all the inner workings of the operation out at the Warrenton yard. So just let me know anytime you want to do that. Happy to arrange that with you.
So that you should be, along with that, you'll be getting some orientation and some onboarding materials that will be put together with staff and I guess myself, since I'm the, and as far as the timing for the board tour, if we can do everybody at the same time, that's great. And if that doesn't work out, that's okay. It doesn't have to be all on the same day and time. So we'll figure out how to make that happen. So you'll get a tour of here and the other facilities, so you'll know all of that which people talk about when they talk about the operation of the building and such. So thank you. And with that, Commissioner Montero.
Yeah, I want to make the comment, that what Jason tells us about and some of the things that Jennifer has told us about, those are hidden gems that nobody thinks about is being done. Most people, when they think transit, they think the bus, they think the bus stops, they think this building. And what people don't see is that all of those silent sort of hidden gems that go along with the provision of transit, public transit services to our county. And I think that's one of the things that we can certainly highlight more and more as we go along in the next couple of years. That's do you want to talk about the strategic plan section?
Oh, yes,
That's right.
thank you, thank you.
Okay.
We are in the middle of, or beginning of the strategic planning, workshop planning. And at the January meeting, we will have our contractor who was selected to come in and give us a presentation and give us information on what to expect in our workshop. So they're gonna come in, tell us we need to get, because we're gonna need to provide some information ahead of time, talk to the board about what the expectations are from the board, and then we'll start planning on our workshop. Right now, the schedule calls for us to try to have a planning workshop during week of February 9th. Obviously, if that doesn't work, we're gonna have to figure out the best time everyone's available. Now, there's more of us, it's gonna be a little more complicated. But we do have a contractor. We will present in January. And we'll do 2 other presentations in January from our team, showing that what we do and what we're working on and stuff, to give you some context on what we're going to be looking at in terms of the plan. So we'll be prepared to do that in January.
So the week of February 9th, there will be a doodle poll sent out for the times that are suggested for that strategic planning. It's not going to be a 1 or 2 hour thing. It's going to be a longer time frame. So carefully look at your schedules when that happens. Just another piece of information, as a commissioner, you will be getting a SETD, a Ride the Bus email address. As a best practice, it is best to keep your district business separate from your personal business, because everything you do on behalf of the board is a public record. And if ever anybody were to make a public records request, if you do public business on your personal email, that then becomes all discoverable. So that's my word of caution to using your personal emails for board business. So you'll be getting a Ride the Bus email, and then help with accessing it and getting it set up on your computers or your phones or wherever you're going to check it on. So,
And you will get a name tag or something that says you're a commissioner.
Yeah, I do.
An ID. And with that, you get to ride the buses for free. So, I did have another question. We had said that we were going to have a session to review the budget. What's happening with that?
We will need to set up a doodle poll for that as well as soon as possible. So that was
It was supposed to happen, I think, we had a deadline. It was supposed to happen by.
yes. Commissioner Solberg.
Question about the email. If we use our SETD email, then would you caution us not to forward things to other board members?
It depends upon what it is. You can't have discussions with other board members about business that may be coming before the board.
Or vote?
Discussions that might
Any
be coming.
kind of
Yes.
discussion.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a for instance with the process that we just went through. I did send things out to the board members, the commissioners, 3 times in most of my emails. It said, do not share this with anybody, do not reply to all, etc. It was for informational purposes. And I sent it out under blind copy so that it prevented people from replying to all. So,
So if you see an article that you think is important or interesting that the other board members might find interesting, that is okay to share that information about that. If that article could lead to board action at some point in time, like us instituting a program or doing something like that, it's best to say, do not reply, information only, so that you're not discussing how we could implement that via email. You could then bring it up. Hey, I shared this with everybody. You bring that material forward. You let me know you want it on the agenda and we discuss it in the board meeting. Then it's open for us to all discuss. But we don't have those discussions via email.
Okay, so
And there's guidance online also for.
what I
for
always
that.
think about for myself is this information or is it opinion? If it's opinion, no. If it's information, yes.
so in the interest of being prudent, then if a member of the public emailed me something that was clearly something that needed to be addressed by the board, could I just notice you?
Yep, then you send it to me. So if there's something you'd like on the agenda, if there's something you have a question about that has come out, information you've received, or there's something in the packet, anything you have a question about, send me the question. Even if it needs to go to the director or to finance or to somebody else, send me the question because we don't want them to be peppered with 7 different emails that basically are asking the same question that they then have to respond to each person. If you send me that email, I'll direct it at the right person and then get the answer to everybody. And everybody has the same information.
Thank you.
Don't email everybody directly on staff. Email me. All good? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion has been made. Second. Seconded. Motion was made by Commissioner York and seconded by Commissioner Deeple. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 11:44.